I'm 81 years old. My name is Arthur. Most mornings now, I wake up before the sun, not because I need to, but because my body no longer understands sleeping in. The house is quiet, too quiet. Some days I sit at the kitchen table and listen to the refrigerator hum like it's trying to keep me company. There's something I've been carrying for a long time, something I believed for nearly 50 years. And only now, when most of my life is already behind me, do I understand how wrong I was. If you're younger than me, listen closely. If you're my age, take a seat next to me. Today, I want to tell you about the lies I believed about success. The kind that don't shout. The kind that whisper so softly you think they're your own thoughts. These are the things that don't leave, the things that stay when the house is quiet and the phone stops ringing. I'm not telling this for sympathy. I don't need forgiveness. I'm telling it because time has made me honest, and I don't have much reason left to pretend. When I was young, success had a very clear shape. It looked like a clean suit hanging on the door, a paycheck that arrived every Friday, a handshake from someone important, a sense that I was moving forward even if I didn't know toward what. I grew up watching my father come home exhausted every night, smelling like oil and metal. He rarely complained. He believed work was a man's duty, and duty was love. So I learned early that being tired meant being good. That absence could be justified if the reason sounded responsible enough. In my 20s, I worked wherever I could. Warehouses, sales floors, later an office with gray carpet and buzzing lights that never quite stopped flickering. I married young. We didn't have much. A small apartment with thin walls, a table that wobbled if you leaned on it wrong. We used folded paper under one leg to keep it steady. Those were not unhappy years, just busy ones. I told myself I was building something, that the long hours were temporary, that once I reached a certain number, a salary, a title, a square footage, life would finally begin. That was the first lie. I thought success was a destination. Every morning I left before my wife woke up. Every night I came home when she was already in bed. I'm 85 years old. My name is Henry Collins. I don't say my age with pride anymore. I say it the way you say the weather, just a fact that tells you what kind of day you're in. Most mornings now are quiet, too quiet. I wake up before the sun, even though there's nowhere I need to be. My knees ache before my thoughts do. I sit on the edge of the bed and wait for the stiffness to loosen, listening to a house that no longer remembers noise. By my 30s, people started calling me dependable. That word followed me everywhere. Arthur will handle it. Arthur will stay late. Arthur won't complain. I wore that reputation like armor. Inside, though, something was thinning. I remember one evening, nothing special about it. I came home and my son was asleep on the couch with his shoes still on, homework half finished on the floor. He'd been waiting for me. I picked him up carefully so I wouldn't wake him. He smelled like soap and crayons. I stood there longer than necessary, holding him, because something in my chest felt tight. I told myself it was just exhaustion. I laid him in bed and went to wash my hands. The next morning, I left early again. That's how the cost began. Not loudly, quietly. Success didn't take things all at once. It took them a few minutes at a time. A school play I skipped because of a meeting that could have been an email. A weekend I canceled because Monday felt too close. A conversation I postponed because I was too tired tonight. I kept thinking there would be another chance. That was the second lie. Time, I learned later, is not patient. It only looks that way when you have plenty of it. By 40, the house was bigger, the car was newer, the fridge was full, and yet dinner was silent. My wife had stopped asking when I'd be home. She'd already learned the answer didn't matter. We were polite to each other, efficient, like co-workers managing the same household. I noticed the distance, but I assumed it was normal. Marriage evolves, people said. Passion fades. Responsibility takes its place. I believed them because it was easier than asking what I contributed to the silence. At work, they promoted me, gave me an office with a door. I remember closing that door for the first time and feeling proud. No one told me that closed doors work both ways. I traveled more. Airports, hotel rooms smelled the same everywhere. I learned how to sleep with the television on because the quiet felt unfamiliar. When I came home, my children were taller, their voices deeper. Their interests changed without waiting for me to notice. They loved me, I think, but they didn't need me the way they once had. That shift happens whether you're present or not. I told myself I was doing all this for them. That was the third lie. Children don't measure love in provision, they measure it in presence. I didn't understand that until much later. The years kept moving. 50 didn't feel old, it felt temporary. I told myself I'd slow down soon, after this project, after this promotion, after one more year. There is always one more year. Then came the moment that finally stopped me. It wasn't dramatic. No hospital machines, no shouting, no final speeches. My wife sat across from me at the kitchen table, the same one we'd once fixed with folded paper, and said quietly, "I don't think you know me anymore." She wasn't angry. That was the frightening part. She sounded tired. We tried after that. Counseling, conversations, long walks that felt unfamiliar. But some distances are about time, effort. We had grown separately for too long. When she left, the house didn't feel empty right away. It felt lighter, and that somehow hurt more. Later, years later, when illness took her, I stood at her bedside holding a hand I had once let go of too often. I wanted to tell her everything, but words don't arrive on command. Some apologies come too late to be useful. That was when clarity arrived, not like lightning, more like dawn, soft, unavoidable. I realized I had been successful in all the ways that looked impressive and empty, in the dark. My name wasn't mentioned much after retirement. The company replaced me within months. The office door closed for the last time, and no one noticed. That's the part no one prepares you for. You think your absence will be felt. Most of the time, it isn't. What remains are the smaller things. A chair no one sits in anymore. A mug still at the back of the cabinet. A voicemail you can't bring yourself to delete. I don't hate my life. I had good moments. I loved my family, even if imperfectly. I worked hard. I provided. But I misunderstood what success was asking me to trade. It didn't demand everything at once. Only attention, only presence, only now. And now is the currency currency that never returns. There are things I cannot fix. I cannot hear my children's younger voices again. I cannot sit beside my wife on a random Tuesday night and talk about nothing. I cannot choose differently when it would have mattered most. Some doors close slowly, but once they do, they don't reopen. If you're listening to me now, I'm not here to instruct you. I don't know your life. I don't know your responsibilities or pressures. All I can tell you is what I noticed too late. Work will always accept more of you. Always. It will never say, "Go home. This is enough." Ambition has no finish line, but people do. One day, someone will stop waiting for you to come home earlier. One day, a child will stop asking. One day, a voice you love will fall silent. Not because of tragedy, but because time quietly moved on. I used to believe success meant being needed everywhere. Now I think it means being missed somewhere. If you're chasing something, I understand. I chased it too. Just don't assume you'll recognize the cost while you're paying it. I didn't. These days, I sit by the window in the afternoons. The light moves slowly across the floor. I make tea. I don't always finish. Sometimes my phone rings. Sometimes it doesn't. I've learned to be grateful without pretending I don't ache. Both can exist together. If any part of this stayed with you, maybe share your own story in the comments. I read more than you might expect. And if you'd like to hear more thoughts from an old man sorting through his memories, you're welcome to subscribe to the channel, like the video, or share it with someone who might need the company. No pressure, just an invitation. I don't have many years left, but I do have honesty now, and if there's one thing I know for certain, it's this. In the end, success isn't what you build. It's who is still sitting beside you when everything else goes quiet.